First topic of the morning here is quarterback position. And again, in no way, shape, or form is anybody saying that Aaron or that Jordan Love is not the guy here, right? That's not what we're saying. All right. We're simply going, okay, how is he tracking a couple of other Hall of Fame quarterbacks? If he was significantly lower than Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers in these statistical categories, Tim, I wouldn't be hitting the panic button. You could win a Super Bowl with a good quarterback. But the fact that these numbers shake out so well, and there's a little bit of controversy around these stats. So anybody hearing my voice, do your own research. I've used 3 different AI tools, and they're all pulling the same numbers. I've got someone on Twitter telling me that the win-loss record is actually different, that Brett Favre's was not that well. Could be the case. Again, you guys do your own research. I'll also mention that here in a second. But here are the big 3, if you will. First 48 career starts. And again, these are regular season career starts. Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre. Okay. Here is what AI has pulled up for these statistics. Let's start with the win-loss record. Jordan Love, 27-20-1. Aaron Rodgers, 27-21. And then Brett Favre, 31-17. There's where the problem lies. Yeah. So Harry DeMarco over on X said, wow, a lot of miscalculation here. Also in 92, he famously came in relief of Don Mikowski in week 3, so didn't make this first start until week 4 or so. So he's showing the record 8-5, 9-7, 9-7, and then in 95 started 2-1 to get to the 48 start. So he's saying it's actually 28-20, which obviously, Tim, it kind of leans towards Jordan Love has been, even more on par than the numbers that I originally pulled here. So when you're looking at the win-loss record, how soon we forget, Tim, that some of the greatest quarterbacks in history didn't get off to these roaring starts, right? However, Jordan Love's tracking when it comes to win-loss record, man.
He sure is. I mean, I'm seeing 31-19, 32-18 for Brett Favre. I mean, we can debate technicalities all day, right?
You think God never farted?
Very well said.
But at the end of the day, Jordan Love is tracking in comparison to our previous, GOAT quarterbacks. So, yeah, absolutely. This is where we want to be right now. Absolute slam dunk draft pick by Goody for sure.
Yeah. Jacob, many people will say, well, wins aren't a quarterback stat. I kind of agree with that too. Like you can't just go off the win-loss. You could be a part of it. I mean, look at Arch Manning and what he did down there with New Orleans, right? They were horrible teams, but he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. So I can understand that sentiment to a certain extent. But passing yards, Jordan Love, 11,535. Brett Favre, 10,085. So Jordan, obviously it's a different era. I get that. I know that's what many people are going to say. But Jordan is already, 1,400 more yards ahead of Brett Favre, 48 starts in. Aaron Rodgers, however, was at 13,326. That's more of an apples-to-apples comparison there between him and Love. Although, when you look at touchdowns, passing touchdowns, Jordan Love, 83. Brett Favre, only 67. Aaron Rodgers was up to 94. So, obviously, he was –
his receiving is tough.
He was the touchdown machine. Interceptions. So, touchdown-interception ratio. Brett Favre, 67 touchdowns, 53 picks. Now, Jordan Love, 83 touchdowns, 31 picks. So, obviously, he's right in between Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers in those numbers, obviously, with Aaron being 94 touchdowns, 33 picks. What do you think about this, Jacob? It's pretty wild how these stats continue to line up almost perfectly, man.
Yeah, I mean, anybody that's sitting here throwing some shade on Love needs to really take a step back and look at what's actually – like you said right there, it's on paper, man. And I think what shocks me more than any other stat line there is the interceptions. We all knew Aaron Rodgers for being the protector of the football, arguably one of the best, most accurate throwers of all time. I think even Tom Brady said that. But then you look at the fact, like you said, he's just about 11 shy of Rodgers' touchdowns with 2 less picks. I mean, and then right in between the two of them with the yardage, like you talked about. It's unbelievable. I mean, I don't think that you'd ever find another franchise that has a best or a better 30-year run at the quarterback position than the Green Bay Packers have done. And while we all want to sit here and we've talked about it on this podcast, how, maybe Goody and certain other people need to be under the microscope for maybe doing this or that in free agency or with the draft or whatever the case may be. But like Tim said, this is a winner pick right here, right? Like, I mean, this guy he's a franchise quarterback. He is going to be, if he keeps on this pace, he's a future Hall of Famer, guys. Like that's just what it is.
For sure. I'm a big proponent of wins and losses are not a quarterback stat, right? Okay. Neither are Super Bowl titles, right? Those are team statistics. But when you start looking at passing yards, tutters, TD to interception ratio, completion percentage, passer rating, I mean, look at Jay Money right on the heels of Mr. AR12, and you got to love it for sure.
Yeah. And, the big concern with Love, every time a young quarterback gets his career launched, there's usually, all right, here's what he does really well, and here's what he needs to work on, right? And Love's was very comparable to, in my opinion, to like a Josh Allen. Josh Allen, you could see the elite arm talent, right? But he had accuracy issues coming out of college. Jordan Love, that's what I was always concerned about, was the accuracy issues. He seems to have fixed that. And again, when you look at his completion percentage, 64.3% is his career completion percentage. Aaron Rodgers, up to this point, that's Jordan's. Aaron Rodgers up to this point was 64.5%. Now, immediately people think, okay, Clayton, but what did Aaron finish with? The last I checked, his career completion percentage was 65%.
65%. 65%. That's what
So Jordan is right there, right? Jordan is right on par with Aaron. Now, Brett's obviously he threw a lot more incomplete, maybe not a lot more incompletion. He threw more incompletions, we would all agree, right? 61.2% was his completion percentage. And obviously he was going to put the ball in harm's way more often than Aaron did. But when you look at the passer rating as a whole here, Brett Favre's was 81.2, Aaron Rodgers 99.4. Jordan Love is sitting at 96.8 right now. So he's got to protect really the only way he could catch up to Aaron is to throw a couple less interceptions, although last year he did that, right? I mean, that was a great step in the right direction, but you got to get the ball in the end zone a little bit more as well. And it really goes hand in hand with why the Packers haven't been able to take that next step. Now, 25 points in the fourth quarter that you gave up to the Bears, obviously that's the reason you lost that game. Jordan Love threw 4 touchdowns in that game with no picks. However, coming down the stretch there, we got to get the ball in the end zone a little bit more, right? That's what it essentially comes down to. Whether it's passing or running, you need to be more effective, more efficient in the red zone. Then I love just kind of going through and looking at some of the NFL pro data as well. EPA per drop back this year across the league. Drake May led the league at 0.25. Jordan Love was tied for second at 0.20 with, if I understood correctly, Matthew Stafford did win the MVP award. Is that right? So when it comes to efficiency, EPA per drop back, Jordan Love tied the NFL MVP this year at a positive 0.20, an elite statistic there. Completion percentage over expected, Jordan Love finished 5th in the league at plus 3.8%. With your MVP, I don't even see him in the top 11 there in terms of completion percentage over expected. So why does that happen, guys? Oh, I don't know, because you got Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Now, I'm going to be a little bit critical here for just a second. You guys remember we were saying bring Devontae Adams back to Green Bay? Imagine if Jordan had Devontae Adams on one side, Christian Watson on the other, Matthew Golden in the fold, Romeo Doubs doing what he does on third down. If you had put that piece in place, maybe we'd be talking about him in the contention for the MVP, right? Again, we're not worried about MVPs. I just wanted to point that out, that you do not see Matthew Stafford in the top 10 in terms of completion percentage over expected. And again, that's kind of giving you a clean slate, everybody on an even playing field, right? When you look at that, it's like, damn, Jordan Love, there's a case to be made that he on a per play basis, essentially, he kind of outperformed Matthew Stafford in some statistical categories, which is wild to think about. And then, of course, passer rating, Matt Stafford with the extra touchdowns there, 46 touchdowns to only 8 picks, 109.2. That's where he separated himself. Jordan Love finished 6th at 101.2, which led to this graphic that the Packers tweeted out. There's your 2 leaders on offense, boys. You had Josh Jacobs, even with all the injuries, 14 touchdowns this year, and Jordan Love with a 101.2 rating. And obviously, when you go back to the career stats here, Jordan Love's passer rating is 96.8 on his career. So obviously he's trending in the right direction continuously.
Yeah. And a couple of people in the chat mentioned it. Like if he had, more time on the field, because we forget that he's, had to battle with some injuries here and there. But when he's been on the field, man, I mean, he gets a lot of flack, I think, and people don't understand if they put these comparisons up, these 3 different, again, two for sure Hall of Famers versus what Jordan has done. I mean, it's hard to sit here and actually listen to a negative fan say that Jordan Love's not the guy. He's not the guy. He is. He is the guy. He's up there in a rare echelon, a rare type of air. Tim has said it for years now. Why is he number 10, Tim?
Because he only throws dimes, baby.
I'm telling you, and that's exactly what this statistic is showing us. I mean, if you're throwing better than Brett Favre, it sounds like you're doing a pretty good thing, right? Like, I mean, we're in town to play the Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? Like, just come on, guys.
I do think it's a great point to make, though, because, you look at – first of all, I would like to say this. Congrats to Matt Stafford. He's been in the mix multiple times as an MVP candidate. And,
Did you see the way he got told that he was the MVP?
No.
He had his 4 daughters came in and gave him a little kind of tribute, and then surprised him and told him that he was the MVP, which it was pretty cool to see.
That's awesome. Yeah, I caught a little bit of the NFL honors last night, but just seeing him get one finally, congrats to Matt Stafford. I think he's kind of caught a lot of heat over the last few seasons or so, and I believe he's one of the upper echelon playing right now. But that being said, look at Jordan Love. Like, to Clayton's point, I mean, in nearly every statistical category, Jordan's right there in the mix. Sometimes on a list where Matt Stafford's name doesn't fit. So, pound for pound, to say that Jordan Love is not the guy, not a franchise quarterback, is honestly kind of crazy at this point, because you can see it. You can see it on tape. You can see it in the stat sheet. You can see it the way he leads as a teammate on and off the field. So I think it's good to see him in that company right now.
Yeah, got it, man. All right, so there you go, guys. And we had a little bit of hiccup there. I believe it might have been on StreamYard's side, but hopefully they could hear you good enough there, Tim. I know I understood what you said there. It was a little bit muffled. StreamYard, boy, I tell you, they just trying to push me in a different direction. I'm just going to tell you right now. Memphis Magic, the barber. Imagine if Tucker stayed healthy. See, that's the other thing too. Hell, imagine if Elton Jenkins had stayed healthy. Imagine if Tucker had stayed healthy. Imagine if Jaden Reed didn't go out in week 2 and miss most of the season. Imagine if
I'm not going to lie, I was faded. I ain't going to lie, I was faded. Like,
imagine if Christian Watson had been available all year and not until November, right? Like, there's a lot of things that come into factor. Imagine if all those guys had been healthy and you had Devontae Adams on the roster. You know what I mean? But this is the difference. This is what Mike McCarthy talked about in Green Bay, is the difference. Sometimes the difference between good players and great players is the people you put around them and the scheme in which they're playing in. That's essentially what it comes down. He says there's no bad football players in the NFL. Some people are just put in a position to thrive, and others are maybe dragging a little extra weight with them. So, again, that's just a quick look at where Jordan Love is. I think we all feel comfortable that Jordan Love is the franchise QB. Some people are laughing, going, welcome to the party. We've been saying it for a long time. Again, we're resetting for the year and going, okay, let's look at the cornerstone pieces here of the roster. Jordan Love, obviously off to a hot start. So if you guys are watching this video back later, let me know in the comments, how do you feel about Jordan Love's start? Do you feel like he is a top 3, top 5 quarterback? Are you happy with the way he's performed? Do you think he'll continue to get better? Let us know how you feel. Take the conversation to the comments. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and click the bell icon. All right.